Okay, I'm still kind of probing the subject matter of why people are so angry. And I was kind of looking into that, and then I noticed something. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute here. What kind of a mind? Wait a second here. Okay, well, what can you do? Wait a minute, that ain't gonna solve nothing. What if I go? There we go. There we go. Now, there we go. And I found out that what happened to Elon Musk was not just um, Trumpism. He didn't just fall in love with Trumpism. He voted for Joe Biden, right? And he voted for Obama. So Elon Musk changed. And you wonder, well, what changed him? Well, he started listening to Joe Rogan. But what started it? What made him upset? It was one day, he's got like 10 children, right? And one of his children did something that he could not control. And then I'm gonna let just listen to what happened, and then I'm gonna let his father tell you what happened after that. And it was a quiet storm. Then he was so angry between his daughter doing something unusual, or was between one of his children doing something so unusual and against his beliefs, and then him feeling slighted by the U.S. government. That's what made him so angry. Here it is. Hold on.
And he had become, over the past 3 or 4 years, he's edged from being what I would call a center-left, somebody who donated to Obama and voted for Biden, to somebody who has become, I think, far too worked up about what he calls the woke mind virus, the progressive mindset that he sees in colleges and in schools. Multiple reasons, which I go through in the book.
What's the most important reason?
Well, the most personal reason is he had 5 older children, teenagers, surviving. One died in infancy. And the oldest of them was named Xavier, after his favorite character in the X-Men comics. And Xavier transitions and sends a note about 3 years ago saying, "I'm transitioning. My name is now Jenna, and don't tell my father." Now, he gets his head around the fact that she transitioned, and he loves her, but she becomes very anti-capitalist, very woke, hates all billionaires, thinks capitalism is theft, and rejects him and changes her last name. And this causes him an enormous amount of pain, and he partly blames it on Los Angeles, where you live sometimes. There's this very progressive school she went to called Crossroads. And that was one of about 7 or 8 factors that led to this political evolution where he felt the progressive left was overdoing COVID lockdowns, was overdoing gender ideology questions. In some ways, it echoed his father, who was also somewhat conspiratorial in his thinking and didn't believe in vaccines or Dr. Fauci and it's a weird evolution that we still see reverberating in the waters of Twitter today.
You say that it caused him a tremendous amount of pain.
All right, today I am joined by a very special guest, Errol Musk, to help me discuss things in the United States. Errol, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, really a pleasure.
So you're joining me from South Africa. You are the father of Elon Musk, a name that's become very popular here in the United States. Were you shocked to see how involved your son Elon was in American politics this election cycle?
No, I wasn't shocked. I was pleased, but I wasn't shocked. Over the years, Elon and my other son and my other children have remained really quite apart from politics. The only thing they've ever done is coming from South Africa, having been a sort of an apartheid state, is to try and, when they got in America, that's all of them, that's the girls and the boys, they've had to try and, be sort of as flaming liberal as possible, to not draw any criticism, and to try and show that they are not, products of some weird community or something like that. So that's the only thing they ever did. And sometimes it pushed them to tears, especially my daughters, because they felt they were being unfairly judged. And my answer to the girls was just ask them where the American Indians are, and then they won't ask you anymore or give you any trouble anymore, But, in about 2021, Biden invited the electric car manufacturers of America, so-called, to the White House to a 4 or 5 day discussion.
When?
And
Hold on.
Biden invited ask you anymore or give you any trouble anymore, But, in about 2021, Biden invited the electric car manufacturers of America, so-called, to the White House to a 4 or 5 day discussion, and didn't invite Tesla. And Biden introduced GM as the leading electric car manufacturer in the United States. And GM had only made 26 cars that year. They hadn't sold any. And Elon had made about 1 million cars and sold them all. So Elon couldn't understand this, and he was very puzzled by it. It was a real shock to him. And following that December 21, in January 22, he started looking around and asking questions, and he was suddenly inundated, you might say, by things that were said on Twitter about him being, bad, and how he's this and how he's that, and he's no good, and he couldn't understand it. And then people explained to him that Twitter is actually a kind of propaganda arm of the American government, and they are doing this on purpose to you. And he said, well, if that's the case, he's going to buy Twitter. And he said about buying Twitter, and as you know, they made it very, very difficult for him. And Twitter was worth probably $7 billion, which is an enormous amount, but it wasn't worth more than that. And they were bleeding money at about $1 billion a year. And they forced him to pay $44 billion for it. In the end, he said, I'm still buying it, and I'm going to change it into a normal platform where it allows people to express their opinions, and it allows people to have opinions contradicted. And so he did that. And that's where he became involved. After that, he sort of slowly became more and more involved, and until eventually, with the new election and also the kind of things that were happening in America under this previous administration, pushed him to come to the conclusion that, the things that Trump and his people were saying were correct. And so he moved that way. And the thing is that 7 or 8 years ago, I've told people, he came here when I turned 70, he brought 20-odd people and 20-odd children to Cape Town to a birthday party for me, and they were all Americans from the Hollywood scene and well-known people. And during this lunch, John Favreau, one of the people there, said to me, so you support Trump? This was in 2016, I beg your pardon. And I said, yes, I support Trump. The reason I supported Trump, he was doing the same kind of work that I always did. He's a property developer, and I was a property developer. And so he'd been in that business since the 70s, and so had I. So he always seemed like somebody really out of our league, someone extraordinary. And so I admired him. And so when he stood for president, I thought, well, that's really good. Anyway, they laughed, vociferously at my supporting Trump, the whole crowd, and embarrassed my sons, and embarrassed me, and asked me why, and suggested I was quite stupid to make such to do that. And afterwards my sons were very unhappy, and they told me I embarrassed them and so forth, and extremely mad with me, you might say. And But anyway, that's then, and today it's the other way around.
Yeah, interesting. I remember covering that story.
Oh, and the plot thickens now. Hold on.
I remember covering that story about Biden basically pretending that Elon and Tesla didn't exist as the makers of electric cars, the fact that he gave away many of the patents so that GM and Ford and others could even compete. The first time Elon hit my radar was actually...
And so, there you have it. Two men wanting revenge. One of them really just wants attention and shit. You gotta wonder, you know things are bad when you just want fucking attention. How can you be worth $1 billion and then and you're craving attention? Both people crave attention. This is scary. This is very, 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 very scary. So, those of you that voted for him, you're about to get what you want. But I don't think what you want is what you need. Because I don't think he's going to do everything you want without first doing what he wants. And what he wants is against what you need. How's that sound? Okay, now how is this? What's going on here? Okay, let's do this. You're in the way now. Okay, all right. No, so I don't know. There's a lot of people putting all their stock in whether or not the economy is going to reverse itself because of Trump. We've maxed out all of our oil production, and so what are we going to do? We're going to do a lot of fracking. I get that. Okay, we're going to do a lot of fracking. How is that going to benefit the American people? Just ask yourself. Maxing out fracking, right? The stuff we get over here in the United States, we can't even sell in the United States. And wait a minute, what's going on here? Okay, we move that and that. Hold on a minute. Oh boy, this is a hard one. Okay, wait. That's not going to work. Boy, that was tough. That was tough right there. So I don't know what's going to happen. I pray that we'll be all right. But the way it's looking, what if they do something like start a nuclear war? What if they make an arrangement with a handful of people to try to be the only survivors, not realizing they're going to need robots to clean up the mess because humans aren't going to be able to do it? Then there's not going to be enough workers on Earth to do everything. And then what if AI mutates while they're doing that and decides that the universe is better off without these humans? So what if they want to recreate a new breed of humans who are less violent or less territorial or less covetous, selfish, greedy? You notice the most greediest, covetous, most violent people are in charge. Well, what if things were reversed? What if the most inclusive, most caring, most educating, most accommodating, most sharing, most peaceful humans were running things? How would this earth be? Well, I can tell you what it would be. We'd be changing atmospheric conditions on other planets. We'd be planet hopping. Because this selfishness is really sucking out all of the capabilities of humankind. So let me just imagine, okay, let's say you got a computer. One computer is trying to figure everything out, right? So there are like trillions of synapses in each human brain. So by diminishing the amount of humans that are capable of advancing intellectually, you smother the capabilities of mankind by selecting which humans will be allowed or pushed into the evolutionary process. Does that make sense? If you're saying, well, I want white people to be allegedly intellectually superior, fuck everybody else. Well, what if the universe needs everybody as a group in order to advance as a group? And you just advancing your kind, how's that working for you? Africa's suffering. Can you imagine what the world would be differently if Africa was on the level of the United States? How different the world would be? Because they don't go around just taking people's territory. They don't do the things that we do in our hemisphere, right? So I'm just saying, let's be honest about it here, right? How different would the world be if there were different people in charge? I prefer it to be kind of like Star Trek when they went to that one planet and the people were so, the beings were so far advanced that they could just cause a loud noise in human brains and cause the humans to submit to their authority. I prefer something like that because that makes more sense. You just say, no, you're not just going to act a fool. No, you're not just going to just run around being police officers among people that you hate just so that you could abuse them and kill them and stifle their ability to make advancements on. Are you kidding me? No, it would be different. And those are my thoughts for the moment.